Hello and welcome to another Smaulgld live stream. It is Sunday evening, the 28th of April, 2019, and it is Solid Gold Sunday with Smaulgld. Now, we're not going to play solid gold hits. We're going to talk about gold. We've had the Saturday Night Silver with Smaulgld for probably at least a half a year, where all we do is focus on particular topic in silver on that evening, and then we leave the news and the gold news and the crypto news and the legal analysis, economic analysis, and so on to the other nights. But I realize some people are interested in gold, and also I'm not trying to be all things to all people, but I have had people say they're only interested in silver, they're only interested in gold. Some people only want to hear analysis. So I'm trying to appeal to the people that actually do tune in and listen. I'm not trying to broaden what I cover. So what I figured we'd do on Saturday night is do Saturday Night Silver with Smaulgld. And then on Sunday night, we can cover gold, Solid Gold Sunday with Smaulgld. And I did a poll, and let me show you what the poll said. Well, it's not really whether we should do Solid Gold Sunday with Smaulgld, but whether we should invite a special guest. Now, Bernie, when he did Saturday Night Silver on his own, pretty much everyone thought he bombed. They don't mind him when he's on a short leash if he's adding commentary. But we're thinking about bringing on, I'm pretty much decided to bring on Seamus to do commentary. Maybe we'll even let him do a show once, not the first show, Sunday, Solid Gold Sunday with Smaulgld. But let me show you what you guys are thinking. If you haven't voted, you can go over to the community tab of the Smaulgld YouTube channel and give a vote. And it says, with the success of Saturday Night's Silver Series, always trying to go for that alliteration. Maybe we'll do Muggin' for Life Monday tomorrow. I have decided to launch Solid Gold Sunday with Smaulgld and possibly Seamus. And I asked, should we invite Seamus to add commentary? So, we'll see what you say, but I think we'll have him on next week when we do the inaugural show. Tonight, I just wanted to introduce the concept, see what you guys think, and give you... there's so many topics, and oftentimes I cover a lot of things which I think could have been a show in and of themselves, whether it's about cryptocurrency or gold or silver, and it's actually harder for YouTube to figure out what the show is about and to even rank it. Because if I cover three things, let's say I cover a big crypto story, a big gold story, and a big analysis on the Mueller report, you don't really know what that show is about. And even if you put all three things in the title, it's still a bit messy. So it's probably better that we focus on gold and silver in separate, not that we won't discuss it, but we're going to try to focus on gold and silver exclusively on Saturday and Sunday nights. And I'll probably cut back on some of the gold and silver mentions during the week. And we can put them in, unless they're breaking news, and we can put them in on a Sunday. So, for example, if there's a gold find or a series of gold finds during the week, I might not mention them. We may talk about them a bit more on Sunday night in a type of news roundup. We could talk about there's plenty of topics that I've actually done some background work that I just never got around to doing. The history of gold. We're talking about some of the ancient empires that actually use gold instead of silver. We always talk about the silver denarius, but then there's a thing called the gold solidus, which was from the Byzantine Empire, and it was somewhat of a global, at the time, that medieval period, currency was gold and not silver. We can discuss the different types of gold coinages in the United States, the $1 coin, the $3. There was all different types of coins that rarely get any type of mention. Numismatic values, the gold-silver ratio, ETFs, different mints, the history of the Mexican mint. So many things we can discuss, the different types of gold standards throughout the year. We can discuss, as we always do, the Russian gold reserve position, Chinese gold reserve position, Kazakhstan, India, and others. And we'll do those all on a Sunday night. And I think there's plenty to talk about. Gold on the blockchain, gold mining production. I'm just thinking of all these things off of the top of my head. Different purities of gold, whether there's a difference between 22 karat gold, 24 karat gold, Indian festivals, Chinese gold demand, you name it. Plenty to talk about. So let me just see what you guys are thinking, get some reaction to. Not just Seamus joining. I think we're going to have him join anyway. But for those who don't know, Seamus is my Irish friend, and he loves gold. Yes, he does. So we're thinking about bringing him on to give commentary. Bernie, I'm not quite sure he's a friend of mine. He seems to want to undermine my sales because he thought everything should be free. All right, let's see what you guys are thinking, if this is a good idea to bring Seamus on. And if you have any topics, let me know. And not that I'll necessarily be able to cover it in that particular week, but over time we should be able to get to requests on what you want covered. I mean, there's always some ongoing news, and there's always a lot of history to discuss, and of course we can take a look at particular individual coins or bars during the Sunday solid gold, Sunday with Smaulgld. All right, if we don't have a lot of questions or comments tonight, we'll cut this short, but we'll be ready next Sunday for a solid gold Sunday with Smaulgld. And of course, preceding that, we will have Saturday Night Silver with Smaulgld. And of course, during the week, we'll have a full lineup of news and analysis, gold, silver, and crypto stories as well. All right, so we've got Jack and Ann and Scott and Philip and DB Stupid and Philip and Fiona, the normal crowd here. Jack, can you please do your Illuminati silver impression? I mean the one where we tell you the truth about silver. That one, then you play all the creepy language in the background. 10-minute video that I could probably read in 38 seconds. All right, Seamus. Okay, so Scott loves Seamus. Good. Or did you mean to shame us? No, thank you. And DB Stupid wants Seamus. And Philip says, well, there's 4 Irishmen. There's usually a 5th. You get the gang together, don't you? Yes, indeed. We love Seamus, and he will be back. All right, so DB Stupid's got a question. Your thoughts on blockchain being used to prevent bogus economic reporting? China GDP, for instance. Blockchain is not a, what's the word? Is not a panacea, maybe that's the word, for tracking, because if you put the inputs false at the beginning, it'll just track the BS that you put in there. You'd have to, the short answer is probably no. It's very hard to track economic data, and because then they apply all types of, I don't know what they call them, qualifiers or indexing and so on. So I think fraud, you can always commit fraud with or without a blockchain. With a blockchain, what it does do, it's good for once you've agreed on what the parameters are, and it's i.e. trustless, meaning no one can go in and change the ledger, then you can eliminate fraud. The problem is if you give a government a ledger, they can always amend the ledger, and you're not going to know it if it's a centralized ledger. So yeah, you can commit fraud, and that's the main thing with Bitcoin. It's very difficult to mess up the ledger, but you have these 51% attacks, and it does happen. It's not that it's immutable, but it's certainly better than just allowing anyone to go in and mess with it. All right, DB Stupid. Let's see. Philip. Sean, you don't seem to talk about stocks very much. No, I generally haven't. I haven't been following stocks. And the problem with that is when you do, you come off as if you're giving some type of investment advice. You're saying, buy this stock, don't buy that stock. I generally talk about what I see in stocks are, these IPOs that we've had lately, trends that they don't even have to have profits to go public, and then they don't even have to have profits to go higher. And stocks they've been an enigma since 2009. They've just gone straight up. I think the stock market's up, 2.5-fold, 2.5 times, 3 times maybe. And the GDP is up, 25-30% on a cumulative basis. So clearly the stocks are driven not by earnings. And that's somewhat why I've lost interest in analyzing. Not that I ever did on this channel, but I used to like to analyze stocks. You look at PE ratios, you look at earnings, book value, you look at a bunch of different things, and you can actually figure out which stocks are undervalued, overvalued, dividend rates. There's a lot of, you can spend a lot of time analyzing stocks. But today, when you have companies that have not even a sniff of making money, like Tesla, and they have these multi-billion-dollar market caps, how can you value them? And then when you have central banks buying them, you have artificially low interest rates, I think it becomes very difficult to look at stocks. They're really momentum plays. They're based on charts. I mean, there's some people that can find value in there, but so that's why I stay away from it. I probably won't be talking about stocks at all. And what about this crypto slide? Well, I don't know if it's I think it's all related to the Tether thing, which I think is a non-event. I think it's specific to what's happening with Bitfinex. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to talk about this. I think that, first of all, Bitfinex and Tether are not big in New York State. And you have to ask yourself the question, why is the New York Attorney General going after Bitfinex? She didn't really go after them. She just they made these observations that they noted, like they investigated Tether. Now, remember, Bitfinex refused to get a New York Bit license. And Bitfinex now has competition for its Tether coin, other stable coins from Circle, Poloniex, Coinbase, Winklevoss twins, Gemini, and Paxos, all of which have Bit licenses. All are approved by New York. Then we also saw Bitfinex. What happens to them? Well, customers get nervous. They remove Bitcoin from their accounts, which means Bitfinex has to remove $89 million worth of Bitcoin from its cold storage. And that means people either pull them onto their own, store them themselves, or maybe they move them to other exchanges like Coinbase or any of the other companies that may have a Bit license. But more importantly, we saw Paxos overnight just issues another $100 million of its stable coin. So forgive me for being suspicious that of all the things that the New York Attorney General could look into, why would they be looking into Bitfinex and Tether? It's a Hong Kong company. It purposely did not get a Bit license. It doesn't have really the footprint in New York, and yet there you go. So I think it's a non-issue, and in fact, I think it's clearing the decks for the favored players to have their crypto bubble. Tether has been a problem. Tether is a black eye. And in fact, what turned out was the whole issue with Tether was they thought they didn't have the money backing the Tethers one for one. As it turned out, there was a lot of money there. Actually, Bitfinex took the money from the Tether account, and it was all there for them to take and then send to satisfy their obligations. So I think actually that the Tether Bitfinex thing is a company-specific thing, no different than Mt. Gox. It's not an indication of the entire industry, especially now with all these competing stable coins that are FDIC backed. They got their Bit licenses. I mean, that to me, that's like Wall Street, Bit license, New York. All right. We're supposed to be talking about gold, but since tonight really isn't Solid Gold Sunday with Smaulgld, it's an introduction to it. All right. The biggest problem of all, her capital has been doubling for years. Okay. Jack, if Satoshi drops his 1 million coins on the market, would you still buy? What are the advantages? Well, it's just like when Russia is dumping treasuries. Once the dump is over, it's over. And then if people buy them up, then that's the last time there's going to be a dump. So that a market overhang is always an issue for a short-term potential hit on the market. You can have insiders, like if Bezos owns certain amount of shares. Now, for example, Bezos does own a certain amount of shares. He's getting divorced. He's going to give half of them to his wife. His wife doesn't know anything about Amazon, could care less about Amazon. Her attorneys would probably tell her, dump that stuff. Well, that'll have maybe an impact on Amazon, but Amazon is still Amazon, no matter who the shareholders are. And the dumps, those are one-time events. They don't destroy the underlying asset just because ownership changes. In fact, it'd be a better thing that if Satoshi or any big holder dumped their, short term it wouldn't be, but you then spread out, you decentralize the holdings of the people. So that doesn't concern me. Only would concern me if I was holding a lot and I was concerned that I wanted to sell and then boom, that would happen. But it's just something to be aware of, but it's long term, it really doesn't mean anything. All right. Think about it like this, is Jack. Okay, we're going to talk about this when we talk about gold. Bitcoin becomes 20,000 per Bitcoin. It's out of the reach of most of us forever. Accumulate now. Well, it's not really true. It's just like a lot of people say, I'm buying silver because gold is too expensive. No, you just get less of it. But for example, if you track my gold silver ratio, and let's say you only had $600 a year to spend on gold or silver, and instead of buying dozens of silver coins, your 2 or 3 purchases a year, you bought 10th ounce coins. Well, after 5 years, you'd have a full ounce, and the ounce would be worth 50% more than all that silver you bought. So the same with Bitcoin. Yeah, if it's at 50,000, that doesn't mean you can't buy it anymore. It just means you're going to get less of it, but it doesn't mean that it can't go up from there. I think it's a very common error that people make. They think more of a cheap thing is better than less of an expensive thing. So you get a lot more of something cheap, you're better off than if you get a little of what's expensive. That's generally not true. But the people love it with silver. They keep saying, I don't have the money for gold. And they go out and they'll buy $200 worth of silver. Well, if you have $200 to buy anything, you have the money to buy something. You have the money to buy gold. You have the money to buy Bitcoin at 20,000. You have the money to buy Bitcoin at 100,000. I'm not giving investment. I'm just saying, if you have $200, you have $200, and if something can be sold, you can buy it. You can buy a portion of a Berkshire Hathaway share. I don't know what they trade for, probably 29,000, but you can buy it. It doesn't mean that you have to buy a penny stock because all you have is $200. And it doesn't mean you can only buy silver, or that you can't buy platinum or palladium because you only have $200. They make little. Now you do pay a premium, that's true. Or you can buy the GLD. You can buy small amounts of mining shares. You can buy anything. So the idea that somehow it's too pricey and therefore you can't afford it. In today's world where everything is, especially in Bitcoin, you can go down to the Satoshis. You can buy tiny amounts of Bitcoin if it got too expensive. All right. What else do we have here before we sign off? Let's see. Fiona says Seamus should take the life of his own, just like Bernie did. Yeah, I'll probably let Seamus. I have more confidence in Seamus. He'll probably sell more gold than I would if he gets on there and he starts talking about all the affiliate links and how you got to help Louis out. That might be a good idea. All right, let's see. Nick Carducci, video on Vault plus yearly accredited inspection by paid person is best audit. Yes. Oh, by the way, how about that for articulation? The DLive.tv, I'm leaving you that link there. Let me see if I can get it out there. Yeah, we should have 19 people signed up. I want to get to 200. We'll try over there. We can try doing the live stream there. DB Stupid, why did the U.S. Treasury melt the gold into bars that are not good delivery bars? Okay, first of all, in 1933, 1934, back then, when they confiscated the gold, there was no such thing as good delivery bars. There wasn't a COMEX futures trading. See, people, this is something we can talk about. how in 1933 the U.S. confiscated gold. I think what D.B. Stupid is talking about was the gold coin at the time, and this is part of our 24 karat, 22 karat discussion we can have at some point. Gold coins in the United States for general circulation for most of the history of them were 90% gold, 10% copper. Now, a good delivery bar in COMEX, which didn't happen until 1974, they are, I think they're 4 nines, and they are 100-ounce bars. Now, when the U.S. melted gold down, I don't know, and I'll have to do the research. At the time, they melted them into certain sizes and shapes and certain fineness and so on. But remember, even if you have 90% gold, for example, in the American Gold Eagle, that American Gold Eagle is a 90% gold, is 91.67% gold, which means an American Gold Eagle is not 100% gold. It's 22 karat. By definition, it's got some silver and some copper in it. However, it still has an ounce of gold, which means the coin is a little bit larger than weighs a bit more than an ounce of gold. So when the U.S. Mint, when the Treasury melted down the gold, I don't know if they made 90% gold bars or not, or whether they refined it into 999. They probably didn't. But that doesn't mean that the number of ounces of gold are improperly counted. Because if you have 90% gold, or 91.67% gold in a gold coin, and it's an ounce of gold, it is an ounce of pure 9999 gold. Just keep that in mind. So, for example, last night we were talking about the Roosevelt dimes. We said they had 0.07624, whatever it was, ounces of pure silver in them. Yes, but there's also copper in that coin. But the pure silver, the 9999 fine silver, that's how much is in there. All right. So it's not like the United States... See, some people, I've heard this, Davey, they try to make it sound like the United States is hiding the fact that their gold isn't pure. It doesn't matter. There's still the number of ounces in the gold if they did not refine it to 9999. And for a fee, they could do that. All right. What else? Let's see what we got here. You guys are talking amongst yourself. Okay. If there's nothing else, then we will get back to it tomorrow. Mugging for Life Monday, and we'll just do the normal programs Monday through Friday, but then we will Saturday night silver with Smaulgld, and then solid gold Sunday with Smaulgld. DB stupid. Smaulgld, why bother melting them at all? Because a lot of the gold that they had, remember, they had gold coins in all different sizes. So if you want to get an idea of how much gold you have, it makes sense to melt it down, and because otherwise you have small coins, big coins. How do you count it? So it clearly was done for administrative purposes. And that's one of the things we can talk about also, DV, is all the different gold coins that were in circulation at the time. They weren't all double eagles. There were single eagles, there were half eagles, there were quarter eagles, there were leftover legacy coins, $1 coins. You know, there were all different types of gold coins. So you weren't just going to have sorted out bags of double eagles, sorted out bags of eagles, sorted out bags of half eagles, sorted out bags of $4 gold pieces they had, right? They had all $3 pieces. That's why they melted them down. Quarter eagles, $1 coins. So that's the reason. They also had other gold. People turned in gold bullion. So in order to get a consistent amount of count, they just melted it down. That makes sense why they melted it. It makes also sense why they didn't purify it. I don't think they did. I don't think they had. That would just be an extra step. But again, if somehow the United States wanted to sell gold on COMEX, that's what they would do. They would take whatever bars they have that may be 90% gold and melt them down and recast them. It's not a big deal. I don't know why people think that that's somehow nefarious. It makes sense. All right. Fiona says, people stress themselves over premiums for small denomination coins for no good reason. Yes, you pay a higher premium when you buy them and you get it right back when you sell. That's generally true because the dealer knows that they're going to sell 1/10 of an ounce and they'll pay you something, and they know they'll be able to sell it at a higher premium. That's generally correct. All right. Let's see here if there's anything else. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining me, and we could discuss gold. Tonight was not the night to. We didn't have a particular topic, but generally I'll announce the topic, a couple hours beforehand, give you the time, just like we do with silver, and then we'll have at it. So I do want to thank you for joining me this evening, and we'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we will do the normal program then. Sean Sailor, 22 karat is best, particularly for coins or jewelry. 24 karat is too soft. I've heard that also when you go to sell a 24 karat gold coin and the dealer is picky, they say that the 24 karat gold coins may get damaged a lot easier because they're soft. You may think, well, I'm getting fine gold. But again, the 22 karat gold coin, you're not getting ripped off. You're still getting an ounce of gold. That 91.67% gold that's in a Krugerrand or a American Gold Eagle, you still have 1 pure ounce of gold, even though the whole coin is 91.67%. It's very important to understand that. All right. Greek share the alphabet names. Okay. Should probably have like a, I don't think you can do it here, but it would be nice to be able to bifurcate the chats. Like if you guys wanted to like have a chat that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, maybe you can do it if you put off topic. If you just put an OT, that's actually easier for me. If you put OT and then when you respond to OT, you put OT, and then if somehow you realize, oh, let's make this a general comment, then you put Smaulgld, and then I can see it and say, oh, that's an interesting discussion. What's going on there? See, now you're talking about Greeks and Russians. That's OT. All right. Good night, everyone. We will see you tomorrow.